Update: Mother-in-law refuses to back down over destroyed Lego Millennium Falcon. Original post: I, 38 male, live with my wife, 37 female, and my 7-year-old son. I work as an engineer and my wife is a senior supervisor at a law firm. I have always loved Legos since I was a kid, and sure, it's kind of childish, but it makes me happy. So I've kept it as a consistent hobby throughout my adult life. In 2024, I spent months building the Millennium Falcon with my son. It's me and my son's pride and joy, and I often show guests who come over. My wife doesn't really get the hype, but doesn't mind either. In early March, my wife's parents came over for a week to spend time with us. As I usually do with guests, I asked them if they would like to see my Lego collection. They agreed, and I showed both her father and mother my Millennium Falcon. Her father was amazed at the time it took to build my sizable collection, but her mother said that it was a waste of time and that I should focus on being a real man and move up the corporate ladder. I laughed it off because she's pretty old, and I figured she'd just held very old-fashioned beliefs. We left the room and nobody really mentioned it for a few hours. But at dinner, her mother said out of nowhere that I should give up on all this Lego nonsense and be a real man. We ignored this and moved on, but you could see in her expression that she was not happy. Nobody said anything about it for the rest of their stay, and all seemed well the morning they left. They left at 3 a.m. to catch a flight, and we waved them off. I went back to bed, but the next morning awoke to find my Millennium Falcon smashed to pieces with a note from my wife's mother calmly saying that this was for my own good, so that I can be a real man and focus on what matters. It turns out she had quietly destroyed it in the night and left in the morning. Me and especially my son were very upset. I called her in the morning, but she refused to apologize. I said that until she apologized, they would not be coming back again. My wife is not happy with my decision on this matter, and honestly, I'm starting to wonder if I overreacted. Did I go overboard, or am I in the right? Now for the top comments before reading the update. I'm disappointed in your wife. What her mom did was beyond rude, and she should have been the first to go off on her. Your mother-in-law overstepped big time. Your wife understepped big time. Exactly this. While I absolutely find mother-in-law's behavior beyond the pale, wife is very much out of line for not supporting OP and her son. OP, you're not the a-hole. Agreed. Me thinks she may agree with mother-in-law if she's angrier at OP for setting a reasonable boundary than at mother-in-law for destroying something that cost a lot of money and time because of her own misandry. Wife doesn't have to understand OP's hobby to understand that it makes him happy. She ruined something you and your son did together. Regardless of her feelings about you, she actively did something that hurt her grandchild. That right there is grounds to not allow her in your home or have a relationship with your child. Your wife needs to think of how disrespected you were as an entire family unit. If she doesn't back you up with this, then you have some serious issues. Good luck, dude. Not the a-hole. My main conflict is that it seems immoral to make it harder for my wife and her parents to meet, even if her mother and I have conflicts. You're right that my wife should be standing by me and I will have a talk with her. At the end of the day, I can't make her do anything, but I need to know where she stands so we can resolve this. Thank you for support. I genuinely worry your wife might agree with her mother on this issue. Be braced for that, and remember that this isn't just something you did for yourself. You did it to bond with your son. Hopefully your wife will understand this isn't about Legos. It's about bonding with your son and the way your mother-in-law violated your basic trust that she can visit and not break things in your house. Seriously, if your mother-in-law thinks this is okay, she'll do worse. Edit. I posted this last night and checking Reddit today was quite the surprise. I'm incredibly grateful for the outpour of support and will be taking people's advice into consideration. I see people suggesting that I have a talk about my wife and will definitely try that. I will also hold my ground with my mother-in-law as suggested. I have seen some commenters suggesting I take legal action, but I do not want to escalate things. I'm so happy I got all this support and will be providing an update post soon. Now for the update. First off, I want to thank everyone for the outpouring of support. It's been wonderful seeing everyone's advice has helped me realize a few things. I had a good long talk with my wife in an attempt to resolve this situation, and we've again called the mother-in-law, which I hoped would diffuse the situation and bring things back down to earth. Instead, tensions have seemed only to have escalated. For anyone who didn't see the original post, my wife's parents came to visit for a week, in which things went relatively smoothly, aside from some disparaging comments about my Lego collection from the mother-in-law. But after they left in the night, we discovered the Millennium Falcon destroyed, with a note from my mother-in-law saying she did this so that I can move on and be a real man. Firstly, after lunch, my wife and I discussed the situation adult to adult. I expressed my feelings of her not being behind me in this. She admitted to having harbored feelings against my Lego collection. She also admitted to secretly agreeing partially with my mother-in-law. She doesn't think that my mother-in-law should have gone as far as she did, but according to my wife, I need to move on. I feel hurt by this, since it's been my lifelong hobby, and being an engineer, I take great joy in building various creations with Legos. After that, my wife and I were certainly not in agreement, but we were at least on the same page. We also both wanted to resolve things with my mother-in-law, and so that day we called her mother, and things did not go well to say the least. I simply told her that I was sorry I had to not let her come back, and I hope things can be resolved quickly. Still feeling upset about the Lego Millennium Falcon, I said that all I asked of her was an apology. She refused, saying that if she bends for me at all, I would never get over my Lego obsession. My wife is not happy with any of this, and frankly the marriage is starting to show tensions, which worries me greatly. She seems to be more distant after all of this. My son has developed a strong disliking of the mother-in-law, and I really can't blame him. She has been getting a little crazy and seems to only talk about politics these days. Should we start considering a senior home for her? So that's the update. Things are getting even worse, and I'm not sure if I can salvage the situation. I'll update everyone when new developments occur. Seems like some deeper issues here than Legos. My guess would be that your mother-in-law's actions and words are based on things that your wife has said to her. Mother-in-law went off the rails, but your wife likely lit this fuse. I agree. I think the wife is more complicit than OP thinks. I wouldn't even be shocked if the wife asked her mom to do that. Even if she didn't do that, wife is clearly complaining a lot to her mother about this. I recommend marriage counseling. Stat. The other piece of this is the son now disliking grandma, who destroyed the project son and dad worked on and bonded over. If mom agrees with grandma that it was warranted, how long before the son pulls away from his mother? How freaking stupid. The wife has no place telling him what hobbies he can or can't do, unless it's affecting their finances or getting in OP's way of fulfilling adult responsibilities. I couldn't imagine if my wife tried to take from me the one thing that reconnects me to my inner child or to my son. Honestly, that's breakup material for me. Your wife having harbored feelings towards something that brings you joy is a red flag, especially since you built it with your son. Your wife and mother-in-law are in the wrong, and don't think differently for a second. You did nothing wrong. If your wife can't see the issue with this situation, then you should reevaluate this relationship. I think the wife has been complaining to the mother-in-law about the Lego collection. My husband doesn't complain about my art supplies obsession. I don't complain about his camping equipment obsession. Mother-in-law sounds like a dreary old cow. I don't get how a woman could say that to a man. It's not only hurtful but can damage a man's sense of worth both in bed but also as a provider. God forbid a man have a healthy hobby rather than going out drinking and cheating on his wife and kids. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my stepmom that maybe if she had a dad, she wouldn't be weirded out by mine loving me? Me, 17 female, and my dad have always been super close. My mom died when I was young and I have no siblings, so it's always been just me and my dad. But ever since my stepmom came into the picture, she's hated how close we are. She says it's weird and makes her uncomfortable. We've fought over dozens of things, but we had a huge fight the other day. Me and her were sitting in the kitchen and my dad came home from work. He said he had a present for me and her face immediately got nasty. He handed me a bag with a light purple dress in it. It was like a short sundress, ended just above the knee. Definitely something I would wear to church. But my stepmom got mad. and said it was disgusting how he bought me a short, tiny dress and didn't get his wife anything. He said he was sorry and that it was only $5 and he thought I'd look really pretty in it. He said that he didn't think it'd be short on me since I'm really short, but I could go try it on and show him to see if it was too short. Then she got even more mad and said he was disgusting for wanting to see me in a short dress. I got mad and told her I was done dealing with her nonsense. She said it's not her fault. My dad acts like he loves me more than her. I said that he does, and she asked him to choose between us. My dad told her to calm down, and that I'm his daughter, so I said that maybe if she actually had a dad, she wouldn't be weirded out by mine loving me. She started crying, ran out, and called us both a-holes. Am I the a-hole? Here's some of the things she's gotten mad about if that affects your answer. My dad carrying tampons for me at concerts, amusement parks, etc. My dad knowing my McDonald's order. Him taking me out to dinner. Me keeping hair ties in his car. Him saying goodnight every night to me. Me telling him drama in my school. Us going to the movies together. And there are more things, but that's all I can really think of. Now for the comments. Does your dad do anything for her? Do something with her? He definitely does stuff with her and buys her things. She just gets mad when he gets me more. Like she wanted him to buy her a car, but he got me my dream truck for my sweet 16 instead. She got a car, just mine was nicer and I got it first. She just is mad that she doesn't get more than me. Another example is our birthdays. Mine is the 14th, hers is the 6th of July. So one of the presents he got us both were diamond necklaces. She loved hers until she found out I got one too. Then she sold the necklace. You have a good dad and a harridan for a stepmom. She's on the fast track to divorce. Exactly. A secure partner wouldn't feel threatened by a dad carrying his child. If she keeps trying to make it a competition, she's gonna lose badly. Absolutely. It's wild how some people see basic parental love and immediately try to sexualize or compete with it. This isn't a rivalry. It's a father being present and supportive. If she can't respect that bond, she's going to isolate herself fast. The problem lies with the stepmother. The reason she targets the emotional bond between OP and her father is because she herself lacks enough intimate connections to support her own sense of security. So OP didn't do anything wrong. If the stepmother wants to change or resolve this issue, she needs to start with herself, not by calling her husband and stepdaughter jerks. That won't help at all. In fact, it's like being the one who's sick, but expecting someone else to take the medicine. It's completely misguided. Not the a-hole, but why is your dad married to someone who sees his child as competition? You shouldn't have to say anything to her. She should have been out the door after the first comment like this. The fact that she wasn't is a failure on your dad's part. Yeah, side-eyeing the dad for being married to someone like that. That's not surprising to me. Maybe when they first got married, the stepmother was just really good at pretending. But if she keeps acting like this, it's only a matter of time before she ends up divorcing OP's dad. Last story. Am I the a-hole for not siding with my husband after my daughter started giving him the silent treatment over a paternity test? My 16-year-old daughter is about 16 weeks pregnant. The father is her 19-year-old boyfriend, who she's been with for 2 years. I wasn't on board with the relationship at first because of the age gap. She was just turning 14. He was already 17. It didn't sit right with me. But my husband, her stepdad, talked me into it. He's been friends with the boyfriend's family forever and kept saying how he was a respectful kid from a good home and that we'd just be stirring up unnecessary problems if we got in the way. I let it go, but I'm starting to really regret that now. So, a couple months ago, she comes to us and says she's pregnant. I was shocked, yeah, but I tried to stay calm. I told her we'd figure it out. My husband, though, immediately questioned if the baby was even the boyfriend's, didn't even hide it. He just launched right into accusing her of lying. His reasoning was that they couldn't have done anything. That would have been illegal, and my daughter's boyfriend is not stupid enough to risk that, and his parents raised him better than that. When I pressed my husband by asking about what if they really did have sex, he simply replied, even if they did do it, he knows that her boyfriend would have used protection because he's responsible. My daughter obviously denied and cried doing so, but he wouldn't let up. Told her if she didn't agree to a paternity test, he wasn't going to support her at all. That turned into a massive fight between us. I said he was being cold and cruel, and he said I was letting her manipulate me. We argued constantly for weeks. He kept acting like I was betraying him by not siding with him, but I was just trying to protect my kid. We had to wait until my daughter was further into her pregnancy until we could actually do the test, and it was a very dark time for my daughter. She completely shut down, barely left her room, only seemed to eat for the baby, barely spoke. I caught her crying so many times, and once overheard her telling her boyfriend maybe she should give the baby up for adoption because no one believes in me anyway. That wrecked me. Meanwhile, I've been doing everything I can to show her I do believe her. I've been taking her to appointments, checking in on her constantly, just trying to be steady, even when I don't have all the answers. I know I haven't been, but I've made sure she knows she's not alone. Her boyfriend and his family have been supportive the whole time. No drama, no accusations. They said if the baby's his, they'd help with everything. And the boyfriend made it clear he wants to be involved and happily cooperated with the test. The test results finally came back and yep, the baby's the boyfriend's, just like she said from the beginning. She didn't yell, didn't rub it in my husband's face, she just went quiet. And ever since, she's been completely distant with my husband. Bare minimum conversations, avoids him whenever she can. He says she's being disrespectful, but I think she's just done trying. And then she asked me, actually begged me to let her stay with her dad, my ex, for a while. She was crying, saying she felt like she didn't belong in this house anymore, and that she needed space. That one hurt, but I said yes. Her dad and his girlfriend have been amazing about it, honestly. They didn't hesitate. They told her she's always welcome, that they'll help her however they can. They've gone out of their way to make her feel safe and wanted. I can't really be mad about her wanting to go over there right now. It's what she needs. Now my husband's mad at me, says I'm letting her treat him like garbage, and that I've failed him as a partner by not backing him up. We got into it again. He said I've been undermining him for months. I told him that maybe if he hadn't treated her like a liar from day one, she wouldn't be shutting him out now. That maybe he should try being a father instead of a prosecutor. He didn't like that. So now he's sulking, and I'm tired. Am I the a-hole? So you've allowed your husband to treat your daughter like this for months? He's an a-hole, but you are too. If you're not careful, she's not going to want you in her life either. He chose his friend's family over your daughter. You're choosing to stay with him, even if it means she moves out. Not cool, very not cool. You're the a-hole. He didn't choose his friends because they were supportive. And the baby daddy wants to be involved, also his parents. He is just a judgmental a-hole, abusing a pregnant minor. Do yourself the biggest favor for you and your daughter. Leave that man. All he is going to do is darvo and gaslight you. Forgive the crassness, but no amount of great bedroom activity is worth the mental anguish of losing your child because of a person who had some very weird interest in your daughter's dating life, especially him forcing you to allow them to date. The man is creepy and weird.